Hello, welcome to the channel, and I'll just call this part 2 of a conference that I had held regarding enemy tactics, and the person that had come up against me and lost. But let me tell you something about the arrogance of a narcissist. Because, see, I'm just going to go on and put all this out because the way my enemies are dropping, no. Like I said, they got to get theirs before they leave. And after. If they don't change, I say and after. But anyway, I'm just putting the truth out, putting the facts out, because, see, the devil gains strength by hiding, but he don't have nowhere to hide no more. But this person, this narcissistic bum that had come up against me, the punk, the coward, this person thought that it was so much that I can recall one night it was talking about some things of the past. And sometimes that individual would do that, because, people that don't have anything going on in their lives currently and know they don't have anything to look forward to in the future, all they have sense enough to do is talk about the past. A lot of times, those types of folks. And this person just thought it was so much, and then it just started parading around, and it was talking about its former friends that it had. Because, as I've said back in the day, or when it was hanging out, I guess, I'll just say its friends treated it like it was like the it guy, or which it was nothing but a lowlife and a loser in town troublemaker. But anyway, I remember that thing pacing around, and it was saying something to the effect of, I can't help if their girls wanted me, or something like that. And he was putting on this showmanship, this type of pimping type style movement that he would have had when he was a teenager. So that goes to show that that individual is very mentally disturbed. When you got a Rusty Krusty trying to act like it's reliving its teenage years, you know that is somebody that has been psychologically damaged. But when it said it couldn't help if its friends, women or girlfriends wanted him. So, you know what, y'all? I think that thing was in its own world, just pacing around talking. But even though, I was listening, I'm thinking, what make you think you so much all of that? And the individual didn't have nothing to offer nobody. But again, like I said, I know its mother was the type to go after, from what I understand, her female friends, men. So it doesn't, apples don't fall far from trees now. And then when things like that, individuals like that start losing friends, it's got to be something behind it. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's somebody that individual used to hang with on the regular, and then all of a sudden, that person get dropped and their phone calls get rejected. Not necessarily like, I know the person was on the phone talking to somebody one time and found out that one of its former hanging buddies was around the person that it was talking to on the phone. And when it wanted to speak to its former hanging buddy, who was actually the boyfriend of the girl that drove the red Grand Am, the former hanging buddy refused to speak to him. So like I said, the proof is in the pudding. Like I said, the person that came up against me is just a snake. No loyalty to anybody, and will not, at least around me, talk about what happened. But I guess if it did it to one friend, it'll do it to another. you know. But anyway, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to put my mouth in that. I don't care about that, you know. But my thing is, you know, that individual thought that it's former friends, girlfriends wanted him. And they may have. I'm sure they did, you know. I mean, you know. But my thing is this, you know, what did he do to play into it? That's what I'm hearing in my mind, you know. I mean, you know, there are two sides to every story, you know, and I never liked, I could probably count on my one hand the friends that he had that I liked. As far as like, not like that. I'm talking about that, you know, where that seemed to be cool, you know, because sometimes they would come to visit too with him, you know, and I just treated them like what we used to call tripping out. So they were like tripping buddies or something like that, you know, just somebody just kick it with, you know. Now I'm not saying like that. No, I've never liked any of his friends like that. But I'm just saying, with this particular individual, he felt like that his friends' girlfriends wanted him. Well, who wants the bum now? And it was my understanding that he was going to try to contact, I guess, one of his old hookers from back in the day. And she told him something to the effect of, oh, I'm married now, or something like that. So he was going to try to go back and hook up with some of his hookers from back in the day. But see, they're married now. So much time has gone by, you know. But this person, that's just how a narcissist really think that it is about them. Oh my gosh. You know what? And then there was this thing where he was accused of messing with some old lady. He used to live with the old lady and the old man. And I still remember the lady's name. You know what? It wouldn't even surprise me. And I mean, this lady was like, oh. Because a person like that, the one that came up against me, he don't have no standards. I'm not saying nothing's wrong, but I'm just saying, come on there, y'all. Now, I mean, this lady was like up there. But a male hoe don't care. And then, you know, its mother would go with men that were like, whatever. I guess she just took what she could get, and they just took what they could get. You know, because his mother, she was the town tramp, just like he is. And just well known for notorious reasons, both of them. And his mother actually led the police on a multiple county car chase. So she was zooming through different counties with the police speeding behind her. I told you. That individual that came from me is dysfunctional, and so is his whole family. But then got the nerve to try to act high-minded. But they're a pack of criminals. All of them. And that bum has spent the majority of its life in the penitentiary. Its mind is messed up. Hair gone. Face crooked. One eye ain't sitting right in his head. And you know his mother had commented about that. She said, she called his name and she said, he eye ain't sitting right. That's how she talked. Ignorant, country, backwoods Bama. Don't even know how to use correct grammar. These are like the bottom of the barrel type people. But they gonna come from me. See, that's the reason why you have to be careful of who you affiliate and associate yourself with. And even the Bible speaks about low associations. I think it's like, you know, to avoid low associations. And that's exactly what that bum was, a low association. But see, when the devil takes a piece of garbage and dress it up, clean it up, come on now. And if you're not accustomed to being around those types of people that are deceptive and manipulative, you won't know what you're looking at. You'll just think, oh, well, that's just a young kid like you, or whatever your ages are out there. Or if you're, a more mature person, whatever, you'll just think, oh, well, that's just a nice gentleman or a nice lady. If you'll think it's a nice gentleman if you're a woman, and a nice lady if you're a man. And you just don't know. The devil would take a piece of junk and dress it up so shiny. But the insides are rot. Oh my gosh. There's a scripture in the Bible about hypocrites and how on the outside they look like what whites and sepulchres, Jesus said, but on the inside dead men's bones. I'm telling you. So be mindful, you guys, of disguises, especially in these last days, because a lot of people are wearing them. Be mindful. I mean, yeah, people are wearing disguises. They've been wearing disguises since the beginning of time, since humanity fell. But it's worse now. I mean, they really are trying to master that craft of deception. So just be careful out there, because I'm telling you, I've known a master manipulator. And I'm talking about somebody that is strategic, calculating, and they will sit there and they will study their prey. Study their prey and try to read everything about you. See, that way they know how to maneuver and how to strategize and where to hit somebody. But you know what? Father got his heavy hitters out here too. Because I'm one. And many of you out there are one. And you know what? A lot of folks done messed around and found out. Hello.